Boop, there we go. So yeah, we're gonna go over, let's see. I have some notes already written down of you versus Flounder, and I also have an example video. Can you see my screen, by the way?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Cool. I also have an example video of HBox versus Pew Pew U at Genesis 6.
Uh-huh.
So we're just going to be using those for like some specific examples I've written down in the notes. And I even have like in the notes game 118, so that would refer to your game. And then I have example 725, which would refer to the Genesis set. And I have the link to both sets in your notes. So if you look at those notes later on, you can just copy and paste that URL and take a look again. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, that sounds good.
yeah, the three things we're going to cover the most right now. We're going to start with rest setups. I did see you did see some cool rests, so that's good. Um, but there's some more stuff that you can do that I think is going to just like be really important to thread certain things. The other thing is recognizing your big commitment moves, like F smash and pound. And the third thing, probably going to be the most neutral based important thing, attacking Marth on shield and how to do that quote unquote correctly. Again, I'm not a Puff main, so but there are just some things I know that Puffs do against most characters, including Peach, but also against Marth specifically with how bad his shield is, that we're going to just look over. So yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that sounds good. Thank you, Willy.
No, of course, man. It's my pleasure. It was actually kind of fun just going over all this and learning some stuff too myself. But yeah, the first thing I saw was you had a really good rest uh, punish here. I don't see you do too many rests, so it's nice to see you do a rest like this. Um, just he does a dash grab, and you just rest it. You rest it on a reaction too, so that was really good. And that's going to be a kind of a basis of what you can do further on. But that's like you see how big that was. That was like he was at what? He was at 13%, and that's just a stock. That is like that's why rest is so important as Puff. It's like her X factor. You know, it can just turn a situation around completely.
Yeah,
So that's why just looking for other opportunities to get rest, or even just using the threat of rest to scare your opponent to do something else that you can punish, is going to be really good. But some other things that you can do against Marth specifically, since he's a pretty tall character and he has like a tall grab, what you can do is you can actually just, and I think you already know this, but just to reiterate it, you can crouch in front of Marth's shield, like right in front of his Marth shield. And I know you can get a rest off of that if he like tries to shield grab you, and you can just rest because I think his grab hitbox, even if it's standing, extends his hitbox, like his hurt box, right above your rest area, so you can just like rest on reaction. It is pretty tight though, but it's so good just to do that. Other
okay,
th-
so like
mhm.
crouching in front of when he's shooting. Sorry to cut you off,
No, no,
by the
no,
way.
no, no. Go ahead. No need. No need to. Let's just drop the apologies. Just go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what you're saying, like I should like drop, like crouch in front of when he's shooting, and then if he goes to the grab, I just jump and rest him.
Yeah, so you can do that. I wasn't able to find in time another. Maybe I can even just look now. Um, melee puff resting Marth grab. I don't know. This is kind of a. Hey, look. This is a. This looks like a good one. Up tilt right. Oh wow, this is a great video. Every rest setup. I'll link this for you. Can I
Okay.
is there a Marth one? Oh, here we go. Wait. Okay, that's something else, but let's see if we can get. Yeah, so see that? It works on Sheik too. Yeah, there we go. That's a perfect one. So I'll copy and paste this. This is actually micro melee is such a good resource. A really short but bite-sized way of getting information. Rest setup guide. Oh wait. All right, and yeah, that's this is gonna be really good. But yeah, if you look at this, uh, wrong video. So yeah, he's crouching right here. So see, he immediately crouches. So you can like do like an aerial. Certain aerials, you probably want to auto cancel them, but we'll get into that. Like that's a deeper conversation. But like you can auto cancel Nair at a certain time. But if you do that, you can crouch right in front of their shield, grab, and you see like he's reacting to this. He's not just rest. He's not reading the rest, but I think it's like this leg hitbox. You can kind of see his leg is like inside puff,
Yeah, yeah.
and he just rests. He doesn't even jump into it. He just rests.
Oh.
And you can do that against Sheik too. This is like really good versus Sheik and Marth specifically because they're very tall characters, and when they grab, they kind of reach out against you. I don't know if you can do it against Peach. I don't think I've been rested that way, but so yeah, he like tries to go for a grab. He spot dodges, and so Hungrybox just crouches in response because what's the worst that can happen? What can Sheik do in that position if you crouch? Can you think of something?
Like, I know I've been like down throw like forward aired before, but
No,
I
yeah, but
can't
if you're
say.
crouching though, he can't grab you.
Oh,
So is there anything else he can do? The only thing I can
maybe,
think of is maybe down smash. Like if he
yeah,
down
down
tilts,
smash.
you crouch cancel that, and you can just grab on a reaction. And like that's like such a weird option to go for anyway. But yeah, down smash is the only thing I can really think of. And in this position, you like if you take a down smash, you're not losing anything. You're like, okay, cool. Like I'm not killing him this time, but I get so much more if I just grab. He can't. He has to like do. He has so many other options he would have to do. You know.
Okay. Yeah,
So
right.
I just want to. That just shows you how powerful just going into crouch is. So just keep that in mind. And let's see some other. So you can do it against Ganondorf. He jumps into that one, I think. With Ganondorf, it might be a little different. And he's probably jumping into the hand itself to like just hit it extra hard. But yeah. Okay, with Puff, you have to jump into it, but it looks like you can do that. So he's probably going over this dialogue-wise. So I would just look into this video after our lesson, and you can see how he's doing all these rest setups. But rest setups are going to be so important. Just knowing when you can go for them. If you just like spend a lot of time just fishing for rest setups, honestly, I think that would be good for you. You don't want to rely on it and like in the long run, but I think you're in a good enough place where you have good enough fundamentals where learning rest setups is just going to make you a lot more dangerous of a player. So,
Okay.
so here, let's go back to this stuff. Yeah, and when I say in the notes, I say, what can Marth do against you when you're crouching? The only thing I can really think of is either like jumping away to kind of just like get away from you, which can actually lead to other stuff. If they keep jumping away when you're crouching, eventually you can just read that with like a approaching fair, you know, or approaching aerial
Yeah.
of any kind. The other thing I thought of is maybe Marth Dare out of shield. But honestly, it might be like Dare might be too slow for Marth that it will actually hit you because your crouch is so small. So I'm not even 100% sure Marth Dare hits you. I would have to like look at that. Up tilt rest. We saw like at the beginning, I think just some up tilts, right? Something like that. But we saw somewhere he was doing some up tilts.
So up to into rest.
Yeah, you can do up tilt and the rest against like most um, characters. Like I'd say like most like floatier characters at like really low percents, like 0 to like I'd say like maybe 12. Probably you could probably do it a little higher. The percents I'm just taking out of my ass right now, but if you look at this video, I guarantee you it'll show you how to do up tilt rest setups on every character, every relevant character. But that's like another thing you can do if you're like behind someone's shield. They're not gonna grab you, but they might like jump out of shield, like do a short hop, or like they might try to set up like short hop dare out of shield, and you can just like up tilt, and it'll beat that if you do it fast enough. And if you do it behind their shield, it's still safe because they can't shield grab it, you know? So that's like a really good place to up tilt on shield. And eventually you can mix that in with grab, but that's another conversation. That's just like basic mix-ups. And here, up tilt in general, and this we're going to go to the example video here, can be used to lead into other things as well. So I think in this one, he doesn't get a rest off this up tilt. but he gets something else. So let's take a look at what he does. Yeah. So he's gonna land behind this Marth.
Oh.
So but instead of up tilt, he goes for the drill, and this is a bit more advanced because he knows the up tilt is not gonna beat the shield. So he's trying to drill to beat shield, which is something we're going to go over when we're talking about attacking Marth's shield. But see, he lands and he catches the jump with an up tilt. So it's even possible he could. I don't think he could have rested this. It would be like so tight. But if he was a little lower percent, it definitely would have been a restable combo. In its own, it's if he didn't DI this well, he might have been able to rest him regardless. But if you see him, he goes for the up air, and that combos.
Oh.
And then, yeah, now Marth has used his double jump. He's in a very scary situation. And yeah, he lands in the corner. So it's not like terrible for Marth there, but it could have been. So just like let you know that up tilt is not only just a rest setup, but can also lead into other things too, like up air. So just a good idea. Just like you want threatening around Marth's shield with these options like crouch, up tilt, and we'll talk about dare later on in the lesson. Is just really good because Marth's shield is pretty shitty. His limbs just stick out a little bit, his head and his feet. But we'll get to that part later on. The other note I have, and this one's pretty big, is the sing stall rest. I'm sure you've seen HBox do this a good amount. We'll go to the example right here of him doing it. So yeah, he's gonna get PPU off stage, and then he's in an edge guard position. Now, it's going to be kind of tough, I think, getting this in the first place because you're going to have to recognize how to edge guard a little better. But he's not going to go out and try and hit PPU. He just kind of holds there because he's invincible, and he makes PPU upbeat early. There's even a threat of him just coming down with an aerial to hit PPU too, so PPU's a little scared. But what he does to punish this, because there's a little bit of time where Marth can't do anything, he just does a sing. And you can rest here, but since he's at 60%, HBox knows a forward smash is just going to kill. So he just goes for the forward smash.
Oh.
But let's say PP was at like 20%. You could even rest like right here. And you want to make sure you do it so Marth goes like off. Can you see my mouse when I move it like this?
Yeah, I can see your mouse.
Awesome. So you'd want to make sure Marth goes off this way if he's at like 20% for the rest to kill. It might still kill on the other side, but it'd just be safer to do it. But you can just practice that against, like, I'd say if you want to practice against Oval, like getting these sing stalls rests, that would be a really good idea.
Yeah.
And here. Yeah, and just keep in mind if they're at 60% plus, you might even be like able to kill them at 50% or something too. I don't know, but just like rule of thumb, if they're at 60% or more, you can do this and just kill with F smash.
Okay. Willy, I had a really big question.
Uh-huh.
It's not like related to rest or anything, but
Yeah.
so I found myself struggling a lot against like Marths who like dash dance in like the corner and like take the space with like forward airs and stuff like that. I was wondering if you could like, I don't know, in general, like what's the good way to like approach that? Like someone who's like taking up space, like doing retreating aerials and stuff like that, and just like how to get inside there and like hit them.
Yeah, that's here. I didn't go over that in my notes, so that's gonna be a little tough. But in general, if they're retreating a lot, like dash dancing a lot, what you can do is you can just like slowly take space. You don't want to overcommit if they're always dashing back, because if they're always dashing back, that's what they're hoping you're gonna do. They're hoping that you're gonna like swing with some sort of move, and they can punish it with an aerial. And since Marth has a really big sword, he can actually contest Puff's range with his back air and things like that. So I'd say just like try and I know this is kind of vague, but I didn't go over this in my notes. I can go if we have another lesson though. I can try and look more into that.
I was
Yeah.
just Flounder, the Pokemon Stadium final game Flounder, he was doing that. I think he was dash dancing, and I was confused how to approach
Here, let's take a look
because
at that game then right now. I didn't go over this game specifically in my notes, but we can just take we can move this in a different direction. So
oh
let's take a look at this game, and then we'll here. So like here.
yeah, like, and I'm like thinking how to approach, so I try to approach with back air, but it doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm. So let's take a look at this situation then. So he's just staying over here. You're giving him a lot of space right now, but I think so. I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to hit his dash in the dash dance with this bear.
Yeah.
When the whole point of dash dance is to bait out an aerial exactly like this. So what you would maybe want to do is instead of trying to hit this low, especially since Marth is pretty tall, maybe like put this bear right here. So like get a little closer, swing in so when the bear comes out, it's right here, and then you can drift out as the bear is already out. So now the hitbox is right here, but you end up a little bit over here, kind of where the shadow is. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So when you do that, because now you're threatening right here, but you're kind of retreating safely. That's what we're calling a safe bear. Because right here, he's just grabbing you immediately, and yeah, he's gonna get a punish and everything like that. And yeah, he's dash changing under this platform, so you can't really. You have to like approach him in this kind of area, which is good. And I definitely see what you're struggling with right here, but yeah. But really, what you want to do when characters do this, this is every player runs into this struggle, and it's not easy to get over. I won't lie, but you're gonna have to force Marth to make a decision, and one of Marth's decisions he has that's super safe that can be used against any character. Like trust me, as a Peach, I know is dash back. So if he has space to dash, so he's like dash dancing right here. This means he has space to dash back. It's very low committal on his part, and it's very good on whiff punishing, which is exactly what we're doing when he did that bear. That's what we call a whiff punish. So what you can do is if you do that space back air, either what he can do is he's gonna try and whiff punish it. It's basically what you're doing is you're kind of undershooting that bear. You're hitting in a place where it's like it could possibly hit him if he dashes forward, but it's most likely not, but you're also retreating. But if he does dash forward and he does that grab, you can punish with a bear or some sort of other aerial, probably a bear that was going to be best. If he dashes back though, you can wave dash in from that location. And now, here, let's go back to that position, because that was a good position. So yeah, imagine if you were right here and he dash grabbed right here.
No.
But you were right here, so it missed. You could just rising bear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could keep the momentum going. So now he's hit. He's in this position over here, and if he's by this stage, he is nowhere to dash back. So now he has very limited options. He has no safe quote unquote options. He can't dash back. That low committal option of his that's really like fucking good for Marth and Falcon, for example, is just gone. So now he has options of either, okay, well I can approach forward, I can like just maybe try and dash through Puff if I think they're gonna like stay in the air. That's pretty risky. He can try and do a rising fair if he thinks you're gonna do like a misspaced aerial here, like a back air. Also really risky because you can get under him and just punish that. So he's basically just forced to do all these risky options. And what I would do if I were you is try and think, okay, well what can Marth do in this corner? And how do I punish each of those options? So like, for example, he can do rising fair. Well, how do I punish rising fair? Well, you could punish rising fair by just like wave dashing in. And if he does a rising fair, you up air. You could also punish rising fair by jumping backwards here and reacting to the fair with a back air, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the flow chart that I talked with Zach like way back when. You can make a flow chart of, okay, if Marth does rising fair, I can punish with either jump away, reaction back air, wave dash in, reaction up air, things like that. Or just like, even just standing here, you could react to like that shit too. So there's a lot of things you can do. And then you do that flowchart also with, well, what if he dashes in with a grab? How can I punish that? You'll notice a lot of these things you can punish is with a back air. I mean, not with a back air, is with a jump back Like it's kind of like Marth's dash back. You know how Marth's dash back we were just talking is low committal? Your jump back is like the exact same thing except it's aerial based. Because Puff has the best aerial drift in the game. That her jumping around back and forth is kind of like a dash dance if you think about it. Or like a wave dash, but in the air. So that's kind of what you're doing. You're jumping back, and it's very low committal. You're not going to get punished like hard at all. Like I guess it's possible that you could just dash forward and do a rising fair, but that's like extremely committal, and he's not going to get off a lot of it. So that's very low commitment by you, and he's only going to get that on like a super heavy read. So I wouldn't even worry about that unless he starts punishing it out of the blue, and then you can just start punishing that really risky option he's going for. But that's
Oh.
not the right. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm a bit lost, just a little bit about like the flowchart thingy.
Yeah.
And
So here, this is a pretty advanced subject. I won't lie. But when I say the flowchart thing, is when you're in this position, you need to think before you even play the match. This is like the VOD analysis and the note taking that really helps you once you're actually in the game. You need to watch this video, and if you put yourself in this position, just be like, okay, what can Marth do in this situation? Can you So and I kind of gave you the answers for this first one. Marth can do like a short hop fair. He can dash forward grab, or and this is like his last low committal option. He can just shield here, or like F smash. F smash is pretty large committal, but just like you can list out these things that Marth can do, and then once you see, okay, so Marth can do these 4 things or 3 things. Just keep it simple. Like keep it like the way when I say keep it simple, I mean like keep it simple is like okay, he can do one going upwards option, he can do one option going forward, or he can do this one option staying here, and then list what you can do in each of those scenarios to punish those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes much more sense.
Cool. And yeah, so that's and of course he's gonna have dash back, but against a character like Marth, you just want to push him into the corner. That's like the ideal situation until you can't have that dash back option. That dash back option is just so very low committal.
Okay.
But eventually they'll start being like, oh shit, he's punishing me. He's pushing me into the corner a lot for dashing back all the time. I better not do that. I better start swinging more. And then that's when more of like the natural neutral game of Melee is played. So.
Yeah.
But you have to make them respect that you can punish them by going to the corner. Because right now, Flounder is not respecting that you can punish him for being in the corner. He's like, okay, I'm just going to abuse this fact because Elbow is going to swing and he doesn't really know how to pressure me in the corner. But honestly, Elbow has trouble. Not Elbow. Flounder has trouble a lot with that in other matchups too. Basically every player. I'm still having trouble with that in certain matchups. I'm like honestly going through like my own little breakthrough right now. How to deal with like Fox's dashing back, or how to deal with them pushing me into the corner. It's a lot. But here we'll move on from that. I'm gonna skip the recognize your big commitment moves. I think you already know a little bit about that. We talked about them like F smash and pound side B in the air. But they are in the notes, so you can take a look at the notes and see what I'm talking about. It is pretty detailed, so I think it's good there. And I even have an example vid of what HBox does instead of going for a pound out of the corner. Because I think pound out of the corner is definitely like... It's like how if Marth F smashes from the corner. It's like a risk it all just to get out, but it's like a super large commitment. But I put all those notes in the notes, so you should look at that later. But the last thing we'll look over, we only have like about 5 to 6 more minutes, but is attacking Marth on shield.
Yes.
I
have so much trouble with that.
Oh yeah, and trust me, I totally understand. We're actually gonna look at the example of it again. I didn't write it down, but I'll it's the 725 thing that I wrote down for another section. So like if I go here, Dare out of shield, and this is Rising Dare, is so good against Marth. So here, we'll just take a look. So you see Marth right now. It's kind of pixelated, but let me see if I can. It doesn't help, but you can see his head sticking out and his feet are sticking out. So drill is already really good. If you do like a rising drill here, which HBox is doing, he's automatically hitting his head. And now he just lands and he's on top of his shield, and PP is like, holy shit, I need to get out of here. he doesn't want to shield again because he's like, I'm afraid he's just gonna either grab me or do another drill. So he tries to jump away, but that leads to that up tilt that we're talking about. So the up tilt, don't worry about the up tilt. That's that's a little more high level. Doing it after that like weird interaction. But this is just to let you know how good Puff Dare is on shield and how good it is at poking Marth specifically. Not so much Sheik
Okay.
because Sheik has the best one of the best shields in the game. But Marth has a pretty shitty shield because his body just sticks out of it so much. And that was Rising Dare. So Rising Dare, it can just make them really uncomfortable, make them do jumps out of shield, which you can later punish. Or if they keep shielding, you can like get a grab, stuff like that. Falling Dare, I think you're pretty familiar with Falling Dare. You've done it before in the past, but I think that's something you really need to hammer home because not only can that just lead to lead to an up smash or lead into a grab because you drill them and they go into that weird like hit stun animation where you can like grab or up smash them. It can also just be a kill confirm against high percents, not just against Marth, but against most characters in general. So like if Marth's at like 120 or something and you drill them, you can get a guaranteed up smash if you time it right. And you just need to practice that timing. I think I've seen you do it before against Peach, so I know you can do it. But like really, if you have that always on deck and you like hit it 90% of the time, people are gonna be a lot more scared of you, and it's just gonna be good.
Okay. Yeah.
Now the other thing, this is probably the biggest thing, is crossing up on shield. Do you know what a cross up is?
Like, is that like a mix-up, right?
No, a cross up is when you attack someone's shield from the left and you end up on the right, or vice versa. Does that make sense? Here, we'll take a look at. I think there's a good example near the beginning. So here, it's not even on their shield. So like this is kind of a cross of what you just did right here. So here, so you're on his right side, and here, and you swing with the bear, but you end up on his left side. Does that make sense? So you start with the bear right here, and then you end up on his left. That's a cross up. You can also do it with like dash attack, like Sheik dash attack through shield. She'll sometimes end, or just like in general, end up on the other side of you. That's a cross up. Dashing through someone is a cross up. Like dashing past someone's shield and then grabbing them on the other side. That's like a cross up grab. But that's like Puff in that situation. I don't think Puff really gains a lot. At least from crossing up with an aerial over Marth's shield. At least not a lot. Like it's definitely good at times. There's never really ever like a bad option all the time for like a certain thing. But if you use it a lot, it's so easy for Marth to punish. I'm trying to find an example. So let's go to. Oh, here I don't have. Let's just keep watching the game and we'll see some more examples of cross ups.
Okay.
Here. Okay, good. So yeah, that bear, that was not a cross up. That was a good spaced bear that you hit them with. So you're like, okay. So you're really close to them. You're like, okay, I got to get away from this guy. I'm going to space that bear, perfectly spaced, by the way. And yeah, and they can't punish with that. So that was a good spaced bear. That wasn't a cross up, but nice crouch. See that crouch is exactly what we're talking about. You did it with up smash, which is also good. Here, let's find another cross up. Okay. Yeah, these pounds we talk about what?
Yeah, just a pound coming back from ledge.
Mm-hmm.
Just.
That's in the notes, so yeah. And I'll even show you a little bit at the end of what HBox does instead of that pound. But because I think that's pretty important. But I'm not finding another cross up, but not a good example. So yeah, that was like this isn't a cross up per se, but it's not a well spaced bear. Like you hit him, but you're like over him, but you don't commit to the cross up. And he just F smashes you because you're like, okay, I'm fading back, but you didn't fade back well. So like, here, if you, what you can do though is like, okay, so they're right there. So you can do this bear, but you see how misspaced that is? Like you hit them with the bear, but you're like hitting them with your body more than the actual tip.
Yeah.
So what you can do in this situation, you can honestly just like jump straight up, or even like, yeah, probably just jump straight up right here. If you like jump straight up, this bear still would have hit. And then you fade back after that hitbox comes out, and you can't punish. But instead, you like get on top of him. A cross up here actually would have been all right if he kept with this same option, because he would have F smashed and he would have been over here. But since you just kind of stayed on top of him, he just got a free F smash since you crouch canceled it. And even if he did cross up to the other side, he could have just F smashed that direction too. So that's why that space bear would have been really good, because even if he crouch cancels it and you space it and you're over here, this F smash doesn't reach anymore. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's why like when you like use these moves, you really want when bear is so good because it's such a big hitbox and it's so disjointed that Puff can just do it safely against like so many people. But let's see. But like I said, cross-ups in the notes, cross-ups should be saved for when you get a read on how your opponent is jumping out of shield. And we're going to go to the example vid and go to 510. Or 505, I guess. So here, he crouches. He's actually in shield now. And PPU jumps backwards because he's scared. He knows that like HBox can do a bunch of shit and he's scared, so he's jumping backwards, and HBox, like, as you can look, it happens like at the same time. Like literally a frame apart. So this is a read. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna read that PPU is gonna jump backwards to like just get back into a better neutral position. Because Marth being in shield is really scary. Even if the other person's in shield, because he could spot dodge, he could do all sorts of stuff. But he just reads that with a fair.
I see.
Now, this is... Oh, fuck. Well, we don't need that anymore anyway. But that's kind of like an advanced thing. Or actually, we do need that. Fuck. Let me pull up the URL again. That's kind of an advanced option, the cross-ups. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. If anything, what I'd take away from all this, Flounder... not Flounder, sorry, Elbow. Is I would take away that you just need to really space your bears and not like... If you're going to be on top of them, use things like drill, you know? Or like nair to land behind their shield. Or like in front of their shield if you auto-cancel it so you can like threaten crouch. But if you're just like hitting them with bear and you're floating right above them, that's perfect for Marth to get like a fair, F smash, or any sort of aerial really for free. So if you're going to stay in the air, space them out with bear. But here, last thing we'll look at, just real quick because we're a little over time, but it's fine, is the example vid 637. This is about your pounds from the corner. Because I think you just don't know how to get back to center stage.
Yeah.
Because it's scary.
Confusing.
Yeah, it's scary. And I think it's because you're trying to force a hit. You're like, okay, I have to engage Marth right here. Because people like just want to hit each other in melee. And everyone's going to struggle with that. But if you just kind of realize, okay, I don't have to hit him. I just have to, like, my goal is not to hit Marth. My goal is to reach center stage. And that's going to reset the situation. So that's what I think, like, if you're, like, in the corner, what you should be looking at more. So look, HBox is at 130. He could die to, like, multiple things. But let's go to 637. I'm already at there, so here. Whatever, just do this. So you see, okay, so he's taking his time. He's jumping back because that's kind of a low committal option. It's like the dash back option you have, that Marth has, I mean, but you have like more space to do it since it's in the air. But he keeps doing that, and he's like, okay, see, he's like threatening to land. Do you see how he threatened to land there? So like he does it once. He lands once, and Pew's like, Ash, okay, cool. Pew in his head, he's like, okay, cool. He landed once. He might keep doing that until he can get to center stage. Now he does it again. So he jumps up again, kind of lowers himself. He's like, oh, I'm coming down. But he actually goes up here instead. And Pew is like
so
trying
it was
to...
a fake out.
Yeah, it was a fake out. And now, look what he has. He has center stage. He's literally in the middle of the stage. Pew Pew kind of in the center stage too, but it's still a much better position for Hungrybox than it was literally 5 seconds ago when he was literally at the edge of the stage and could die from anything. Now, if he gets hit by anything, like, even a Nair is not going to kill here, probably. And that smash definitely would if it's tippered. If it's a weak F smash, probably not. But Hungrybox is just in a much safer position, and he can get more percent. Let's see if he gets anything off of this, too. See, he takes a Nair. And it's like, oh, okay, well, he's not dead, though, because if he was at the corner, he might have died. But nope.
Yeah.
And now he's like, cool. He's taking these fares, but he's like, I was in a center stage, so I'm fine. Now he's in the corner again. Let's see if he can do anything to get out. Okay, well, don't do that. I have no idea why the fuck he did that. I guess it's FD, so it's a little scary to deal with, but just don't do that. But yeah, see, look.
Not that bad.
I would not. I think Hungrybox got away with that because he's Hungrybox, and PPU's like, I'm just not gonna fuck with that because I have no, what the fuck is happening. So just don't do that. Just you can learn about that later when you're PR'd somewhere and you want to add some like sauce to your play. But until then, just stick with the fundamentals. But
Okay.
regardless, after this, he's still in this position, and look, he's gotten a fair, and he's in this position, and even though he only got one hit, since he's gotten out of the corner twice now, he's gotten some extra percent. And it's just like, yeah. And you see Hungrybox is like, he's still like, it's so hard for PPU to get this hit on him. And look, he's taken this Nair. Oh, wow, that Nair barely killed, though. But he was at 154. So if you can just increase your survivability by, like, not fishing for those pounds. Because if Hungrybox did any of those pounds, like, it either hits or he dies in that situation. Okay. And you know QPU is, like, thinking, I know Hungrybox has a pound available to him. So if you like find a Marth that's just going to respect your pounds a lot, you're just we're going back to the commitments where if this hits, yeah, it's good. It's not even that good at 51% or at the 20% that I saw you do it at. What the Marth was at. But if it misses, you lose everything for that stock. So really, you want to use that as like your cheese. You want to use that like once a game, if anything. You know. You want to make them like you want to, yeah, like that. That's like arbitrary, but you want to make them forget that the option even exists. But if you keep using it, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna wave dash back and punish it next time he uses it. But if you never use it, and it's like last stock, well, maybe not last stock because people look out for the cheesier options then. But like if it's like, oh, okay, like you're up 4 stocks and they're down 2 stocks, and they're like kind of like fishing for that kill, then you can go for the pound that you haven't used the entire game, and they're not expecting it, but they're like hungry for the kill, so they're kind of like up close and aggressive, and then you get a reversal, and then it works in your favor. But if you use it all the time, they're gonna respect it, and you'll keep dying to it. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So I think that was a pretty good lesson. I'll send you these notes, and I'll upload this to YouTube. As soon as possible. I'll probably just upload it right away, and I'll try and work on the. I have to make the thumbnail and everything, but that shouldn't take too long. But yeah, yeah, man. If you have any other questions, just like shoot me a message. If you're still subbed next month, I'll try and look more into the neutral situation. I thought though what we went over though in terms of Puff dashing back, Marth dashing back, and how to like putting him in the corner. That's just a general rule of thumb. But to be fair, it's gonna be really hard to just grasp that from like one lesson or anything. That's like a lot more experienced based stuff. But I guess if I had anything for you to take away from this, I'd like focus on safe play, like spaced bears, less cross ups, experimenting with rest punishes that we talked about, and watching that VOD that video that I'm gonna put in the notes. I've already done that.
Yeah.
And watching the pounds. I'd say just watching the pounds. Yeah, the pounds are like one of the biggest things.
Right.
And yeah, the rest setups, watching the pounds, and how to deal with Marth's shield when that means spacing like bears. What an unsafe bear looks like. Here, did I even look at the? Oh wow, I think we got to. Actually, I was gonna have to get to it in a very unsafe bear. Or is this the one we talked about? I can't tell.
I just keep on getting grabbed.
Here. Here's the bear. So yeah, look at that bear.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know why you threw that bear there, but he shield grabs you for it. Because you land right in front of him, it wasn't spaced at all, and you just give him this, and he gets an F smash, and it
I
kills.
see.
So you don't if you're gonna be on top of a shield like that, like this is the
Drill
perfect
instead.
place to drill, right? Because if it's gonna
Yeah.
poke his feet right here, and then you can just grab him. You can crouch if it doesn't actually like hit him into hit stun. Yeah, and we can up smash him too. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's it. And yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know.